On today's show, we got some juicy new trade rumors from ESPN. Nothing to do with Trey Hendrickson. Nothing to do with Jaire Alexander. No. Today we are talking about the wide receiver room and who ESPN thinks of all these three guys is most likely to be on the trade block. Before we get into that, though, let's give you a little bit look into this wide receiver depth chart. Obviously, you got Romeo Doubs, Matthew Golden, Jayden Reed. You added Savion Williams, Christian Watson. He's still in that depth chart. You're not going to see him until like week 11 or 12. Dontavian Wicks is in there. You added McCole Hardman. All in all, let's just call a spade a spade. This is a crowded room. It is a very crowded room. And I think that's not a bad thing to have. Like, that's champagne problems. Oh, no, I've got a lot of good wide receivers. Go cry me a river. It's going to make for a really awesome training camp, some really great wide receiver battles, and could lead to a big move and a big trade. We'll break down who that could be in just a second. But, guys, we only got 2 more days in the month of May, and we're only down 4 subscribers to Vikings now. This has been a back and forth, heated battle all month long. New viewers, I'm looking at you guys. Okay, everybody else who's already subscribed, they've done what they can. I need you guys to be the next ones. Hit that big red sub button if you love the Packers, if you hate the Vikings, if you love free stuff. 3 reasons right there to join us today. Alrighty, so ESPN put out a report, and they talked about the latest offseason rumors. We got the June 1st deadline coming up. Some cuts, some trades might be made, and with training camp just around the corner, Bill Barnwell has a feeling that some things might shake up in the wide receiver room. Here's what he had to say. If Golden and Williams impress in training camp, teams will be calling the Packers to inquire about their young wideouts and whether any of them might shake available before the start of the season. Now, currently as we sit, it seems pretty likely that Green Bay won't trade any of their wide receivers, okay? We've heard from a lot of different sources they're happy with where they are right now with their room, and they're excited to see the competition that might shake out. But, like Barnwell said, that could all change, right? Matthew Golden could come in here, and he could dominate. Savion Williams could do the same, and they might be looking and saying, maybe we could get a wide receiver or 2 out of here if we get something valuable in return. Prediction time. Alrighty, get those crystal balls out. Will the Packers trade a wide receiver? Do you think they'll make the move? If you do, hit me with a yes in the comment section down below. And if you don't, let me know by telling me no. Alrighty, now it's time to talk about who they would trade. Bill Barnwell talked pretty much about the 3, top wide receivers on the Packers roster, on the Packers depth chart as it sits currently. And he made some pretty good points to why 2 of them probably won't be traded. He started with talking about Jayden Reed, right? He said, you know what? The yak ability, the yards after catch ability is unique with Reed. And also, if you remember, we talked about it yesterday, and we talked about it when it happened. Just a couple of weeks ago, Drew Rosenhaus, his new agent, met with Brian Gutekunst and got a little bit more reassurance on his role going into this next season. So Jayden Reed likely seems off the table. Now, Christian Watson, why he wouldn't be traded is because it's unclear when he'll be back on the field. He tore his ACL in January. It seems the best case scenario, he's back early November. That's a big question mark, big red flag, and a big reason why teams might not be wanting to trade for him. So who does that leave? The one and only Romeo Doubs, right? And again, we've discussed his trade rumors before, but I think Bill Barnwell makes a really good point. He said the following. Doubs seems like the most obvious candidate, given that he was already suspended for 1 week by the team last season for missing a pair of practices. At $3.4 million in the final year of his rookie deal, Gutekunst has been relatively aggressive, adding options such as Jacobs, McKinney, and Hobbs over the last couple of years. And we've talked about this before, right? We've talked about trading away Romeo Doubs, and it's been shut down. This was a big point of contention. This was a big topic of discussion. A couple of months ago, when the Steelers traded away George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys, we thought, man, maybe a wide receiver they could target next is a guy like Romeo Doubs. Well, Peter Schrager went on and talked about this, and he kind of shut those rumors down right where they stood because he's a guy who knows a good bit, has a good bit of, inside information. And he said, with the Steelers trading Pickens, there's been a lot of rumors on Doubs with his close relationship to Rodgers. Rodgers used to always praise him when he was a rookie and say how great Romeo was doing. I'm here to tell you, LaFleur is like, Romeo Doubs is so great in our building. So I don't think any of those Packers receivers is necessarily shipped either, just to make Rodgers happy, which has been an assumption online. I think the Packers are really happy with their young wide receiver group. And I don't disagree. Okay, I think Matt LaFleur loves the current state of that wide receiver room. But let's play a hypothetical real quick. What if, close your eyes, imagine to yourself, Matthew Golden and Savion Williams during training camp just absolutely dominate. They look better than they ever did before. And then Pittsburgh picks up the phone. They come calling. They try to make some kind of a handshake deal. Now, I prefer high fives to handshakes, but still, we don't know how the con artist over there in the Steelers likes to do things. And say Rodgers wants to be with Romeo Doubs. Say that's the guy he wants to add. And then they offer Green Bay something just unexpected that kind of blows the doors off. Like, that's all something. All four of those things could legitimately happen. I don't think it's too far-fetched to believe that, because if you look at the wide receiver room that currently sits in Pittsburgh, it's not good enough. DK Metcalf, he's their wide receiver one. It's not even close. But then you got Robert Woods. They're playing Robert Woods highlights during OTAs. Are you kidding me? Calvin Austin III, yeah, he's a great slot receiver, but like, who else is on this team? Roman Wilson? Give me a break. We all know that if Aaron Rodgers joins Pittsburgh, and that's still a big if, I still think he probably will. But regardless, big if. We all know that he'll want better. Flat out. Plain and simple. And the year that Romeo Doubs and Aaron Rodgers played together, it wasn't bad, especially for a rookie fourth-round pick. 42 receptions, 425 yards, about 10 yards a catch, 3 touchdowns. He did have 5 drops, though. We all know that that has been a problem in his tenure, over the past couple of seasons. But it's easy to think that Aaron Rodgers might be wanting to pair with him again because they need the help. Stealing Doubs would lock in draft compensation and avoid a potential headache if he falls down the depth chart during the season. That's for the Green Bay Packers and why they might want to get him out of town. Because we all know that Romeo Doubs and his tenure with Green Bay, there's been some great flashes, there's been some downtimes as well. On the 3rd of October, skip practice. On the 4th of October, skip practice. On the 5th of October, the Packers suspend him for 1 game. 4 days later, he's back at practice, but him and Matt LaFleur kind of had a cold interaction, if you remember. LaFleur was going around dapping up Christian Watson. Jayden Reed gets to Romeo Doubs, a little bit of a fist bump, and they both walk away. But then 2 days later, Doubs finally speaks to the media for the first time, speaks to reporters. All in all, it was a headache, right? And it was something that they had to go through. So that's what am I trying to say? Character concerns, I guess I would say. But there's also injury concerns, right? He's had a checkered past with concussions, which is something that is really serious. It needs to be taken that way. In college, September 7th, 2019, he had a concussion against Nevada. And then this last season, he suffered 2 in the span of 2 months. One against the 49ers and one in that final game against the Eagles. And if Green Bay's going to move off a receiver, it's going to be Doubs. I have no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It's not going to be Jayden Reed. It's not going to be Christian Watson. I could see possibly a guy like Dontavian Wicks, but he doesn't have quite the upside that Romeo Doubs does. So if some team's going to want to add a playmaker and the Packers are going to give him one up, it's going to be Doubs. You let me know, who would you trade out of those 3 guys? RD for Romeo Doubs, CW for Christian Watson, JR for Jayden Reed. You let me know your answers down below. I wouldn't be surprised either way. If they go into the season with the current state of the depth chart that they've got, with the current wide receivers that they have in that building, that's not going to shock me. But also, if they make a move, trade Romeo Doubs because they're happy with how guys like Matthew Golden and Savion Williams are doing, sure, I could see that as well. Like I said off the top, it's a crowded room. It's a good room. But it's a room that you could get some value out of, okay? And if things go like people want them to with Matthew Golden, I could see that happening because Jordan Love had a lot of really great things to say about the rookie. He said, it's been fun to see him out there. His routes, he's running, the things he's doing, he looks very smooth. He's got great hands, great body control, all those things. For him, the biggest thing is how fast can he pick up the offense and be consistent as possible, knowing the things he needs to do on every single play. At the end of the day, my sentiment is this: give me all the Matthew Golden content I can get, right? The more I hear about Jordan Love talking about Matthew Golden, the more I see of him out at practice, the more excited I get to watch him on Sundays in the fall. This dude is going to be a star. This dude is going to be perfect in this offense. And because of that, Green Bay might think maybe it's time we get something for the good wide receivers we have as well. Make sure you guys are following me over on social media. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram, both those places at Joey Petersen 8. Those links are in the comments. And make sure you're subscribed, okay? No better time to do it than the present. If you like this video, obviously you're still watching, so you enjoyed some of it. Make sure to lock us in by subscribing today.